Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from 3GameMan.com, and today I'm looking at a new case from Phanteks, and this one is actually in their Eclipse series. It is the P400. Now it comes in a few different colors. By the way, you can also get this particular case with acoustic dampening material and a fan controller, and that one is actually the P400S. But look at it, it's beautiful. It has lots of room to work on the inside, comes with fans, you could install more, there's water cooling potential, so let's have a look. It comes in this pretty plain looking box. It does have pictures as well as features and specifications about the product on it though. And this case is not going anywhere. Two pieces of styrofoam on either end, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. Ooh, would you look at this? Very sexy, right? Now this of course is the white bottle, but it also comes in black. That's pretty sweet as well. And gray. And there's an LED strip at the front bottom. I'll show you that in just a minute. Now the case is mainly comprised of steel, all the outside panels and the inside. You've got a large tinted window on the left side panel. Anyone who wants an optical disc drive, well, sorry, no 5¼ inch drive bays. This is a single panel. You pull at the bottom and it comes right off. They include dust filters. There's one at the top, and by the way, they kind of just slide out, and there's another one at the bottom. So here's that LED strip, which will look awesome, you know, glowing there at the bottom. Now they include one 120mm intake fan, but optionally you can install two more for a total of 3 120mm fans, or you can install up to two 140mm fans, or optionally you can install up to a 360mm radiator. And note the cable management holes here at the front. Plus, they have places to actually organize them. At the top, they include a removable magnetic dust filter, and optionally, you can install up to two 120 or two 140mm fans. Up here as well is a power button, an LED button, a reset button, and at the top front right, they have the audio jacks and two USB 3 ports. Now what about you want to remove this top panel? Well, you can, but it does require removing a few screws at the front and a few more here at the back. And actually there are screws along each side that you will also need to remove. Now if you're concerned about the fans intaking lots of cool air at the front of the case, because you know it is one entire panel, don't be, because they have lots of ventilation at the top, and of course you have the ventilation at the bottom as well, with the included dust filter here and again at the top. So that's really not a concern. And just in case you missed it, the right side panel is plain. At the back they include a 120mm exhaust fan, but alternatively you could put a radiator here. Here's where you would install the motherboard's I/O shield plate. They include 7 ventilated expansion slots. By the way, there are thumb screws on all of these, and at the bottom is where you would install a standard ATX power supply. And by the way, on the inside, they do have rubber rests for the power supply to lodge on. Plus, there are 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. Look at all the room that you have on the inside. That's awesome. You can install mini ATX, micro ATX, standard ATX, as well as extended ATX form factor motherboards. There's a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, plus lots of cable management holes to route cables through. And they do have punch outs and places to organize the cables behind the motherboard tray. And by the way, there's lots of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. You know, get those cables out of the inside part of the case here, because it looks messy, especially if you have a case with a window. Tuck them away back there. By the way, speaking of neat and tidy, they have this power supply shroud here. and as you can see, they have ventilation at the top. Now let's go through the clearances. As for video card length, you can have one that's up to 395 millimeters in length, but if you have the optional hard drive brackets installed, you can fit one that's up to 280 millimeters in length. As for power supply length, it is 270 millimeters, and the cooler height is substantial at 170 millimeters. And by the way, the space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel is 25 millimeters. Now you can fit up to two 3.5-inch drives or up to two 2.5-inch drives on the inside. The 2.5-inch drives get installed behind the motherboard tray, and I'll show you that in just a second. But you can optionally get hard drive brackets here and install up to 6 3.5-inch drives. Note these little branded plates, which you can remove by taking off a single thumb screw, which is handy because you might want to route cables through here. Now let's take a look behind the motherboard tray and on this side of the case. They include Velcro ties here for organizing the cables. Again, a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, and cable management holes. Here is where you would install the two 2.5-inch drives. They have brackets. They come off like so, mount the drive on them, and literally put them back into place. Now, as for installing 3.5-inch drives, well, you do that down here. Now, of course, you can install 2.5-inch drives down here as well for a total of 4 2.5-inch drive. So to install a drive, just remove the plastic drive rail, insert the drive, and by the way, if you're installing a 3.5-inch drive, it's a toolless operation, and then slide it back. At the bottom, there are 4 rubber feet. These are rather tall. That's good because it will allow the power supply's fan to do its job and intake lots of cool air, especially wonderful, if the case is on a soft surface. Also down here, they include a removable dust filter for the power supply's intake fan. They've done a bang-up job on this case. The overall styling and build quality is exceptional. It comes in 3 different colors, and there's plenty of space on the inside to work and put lots of awesome hardware. Without a doubt, I love it actually. It's going to get a 100% kick-ass award. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review. And if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome. And if you have any questions, let me know.